Hey guys, it's Rod, the host here. Basically, just a quick, not really a warning, but basically there's just been a couple of technical issues with this episode in terms of getting it out, and therefore, as a result, you'll hear some stuff that might be slightly dated towards the end, especially when we're referencing our G1 special episode, which has already come out by now. So not only give that a listen, but give this episode a listen too. Apologies for the delay. Hope you enjoy our reviews of AEW's Fyter Fest, Eve's Wrestle Queendom, and our thoughts on Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. Surprisingly, we even got those out too. So enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Holy Shoot Wrestling Podcast, a podcast that is all about the world of professional wrestling. I'm your host, Broderick, and joining me is...
Me, it's Sam, the one that wasn't on for 2 weeks, but now I'm back.
And, yeah, you're the only one here. Jason couldn't make it because he's just sulking that Eric Bischoff returned to WWE. Chen was so delighted with AEW that he was just like, you know what, I'm done with wrestling. And Chris, he's probably under some bridge somewhere drinking vodka. So,
usual Tuesday night for Chris.
Oh, no, wait, his usual Tuesday night is gin. It's even worse.
Oh.
We're not, even though we're from London, we're not gin fans, quite surprisingly.
Yeah.
Are you a gin fan? I should have seen it.
I like a gin and tonic because it's a drink that makes me feel like an adult. And I think, because it's not sweet, it's like, if you give it to a kid and they drink it, they're going to go, oh, that's gross. So when I drink it, I'm like, I fucking made it.
But actually, you don't like the taste of it.
Oh, I wouldn't put gin in anything else. I think it only goes with tonic. So I do like a gin and tonic occasionally, but yeah, a gin is a good way of ruining other cocktails, I think.
Oh, you see, I don't like tonic water, so therefore I can't really drink gin and tonic without wanting to die inside.
Oh, I don't like tonic water either. It's like only the combination I can put up with. And I don't know why.
Fair enough. Like, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of like pastrami. I'm not a huge fan of mustard. I'm not a huge fan of pickles. But combined, all three, it's a miracle.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. There's lots of stuff like that, I think.
Yeah. Lots of stuff like that, just like SCU. I just wanted to say that. Which leads us on to what we're going to be doing for today's show. We're going to be covering AEW's Fyter Fest, Eve's Wrestle Queendom 2 that Sam and I went to, as well as Jason and producer Chris. Yes, he still exists.
He's a real person.
He's a real boy.
He is a real boy.
And what else are we doing? Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about Heyman and Bischoff and what it means for the future of Raw and SmackDown. And obviously, Sam, you are going to enter something into the Ring of Dishonor. Which
yes, I have.
I already kind of know what you're going to be putting in because you're upset with the little angle that played out on Raw last night.
Yes, I am.
But we'll save it for then. So join us after this short break for AEW's Fyter Fest review. So, AEW Fyter Fest happened this past Saturday night in good old Daytona Beach, Florida. Let's just keep that in. 9 matches on the card if you include the pre-show. It was definitely an interesting event. A lot of people actually really liked this event just as much as Double or Nothing, as far as what I can get on social media. But unfortunately for the AEW team, one event stands out more than anything else, and it's unfortunately a negative, and that is the chair shot to Cody Rhodes by Shawn Spears, which led to Cody being busted open. This is after the draw with Darby Allin. It's a really unfortunate angle. So, so Sam, what thoughts on this? First of all, what are your thoughts on just the spot in general, like how horrifying it was when you watched it, and then afterwards, do you think it's a bad thing AEW did here?
Basically, when the chair shot to the head happened, I thought, that's, when I see that happen on any show, there's only one thing repeating in my head, and it's that name, Chris Benoit. That's all I can think about. As soon as I see someone get hit in the head, I just think, why would you do that? Knowing that he can't even claim ignorance. He's Cody fucking Rhodes. Like, you can't be more in the wrestling industry than him. And, he definitely has a finger on the pulse. So I don't know why they did it. It was gross as well. The flap of skin hanging off the back of his head.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Apparently the gimmick was... apparently the chair was gimmicked according to the Young Bucks, and I think the idea was that the chair, to lessen the impact to the blow to the head, was supposed to like fold open upon impact, so it wouldn't be that bad. But of course, something went wrong. But I just really hated this angle. I thought, it's just shocking. Like everyone knows about concussion, CTE, and even if you don't have a concussion, you can still get CTE from these sorts of shots. It's a very risky thing to do. It's an unnecessary thing to do. And we speak about Chris Benoit, but there's other things. Balls Mahoney had his brain scrambled. Mick Foley can't remember some stuff from the 90s because of it. There's other
Mike Awesome, Misato Tanaka, the list goes on.
In order to keep this sport alive and people to live longer in the sport, this is the sort of stuff that should be avoided at all costs.
Yeah, even if you've gimmicked the chair in some way, it's still the visual. You don't want to be encouraging it at all. It's just something that you don't need to do at all.
I wholly agree. I think it's just really bad when you consider that this product will go on TV in a few months, and you take this risk in your second show. I think that is just. I think that's ignorance. An unnecessary level of ignorance as well, considering, as you said, it's Cody Rhodes, and so he should know better. Not necessarily the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega, because they haven't been in like the, not to call WWE the big leagues, but comparatively speaking, WWE obviously have more experience in this. Cody Rhodes has had more experience going through the entire WWE process. So he should know more than anyone else within that company not to do a spot like that. Yeah. Same with Sean Spears. I'm not sure why he agreed to it.
No, it's kind of it's a bit out of the left field. Like you say, unnecessary. So something interesting you said about them taking this big risk on their first show. Something that they do is the New Japan style post-match interviews where they actually have press rather than just AEW guys asking questions. And I watched the one with Tony Khan where he was saying that was completely unacceptable. It shouldn't have happened. If they asked me if it was okay to do it, I would have said no. I unequivocally distance myself from and apologize for that being on my TV show. He was like, he seemed as angry as you could imagine someone like Tony Khan ever getting publicly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he might be protecting himself by saying that. He is a separate entity to those guys, and he has more investments outside of this promotion. So
interesting.
I can't. It's interesting. Those posts. I'm not a huge fan of those AEW press conferences, FYI. It's not. Here's the thing, right? Going off the sidetrack, I don't mind them doing it, but I wish they stuck to like New Japan style where it's kayfabe, Yeah.
I like that. I really like that about New Japan, and a little. I was hoping they're going to go more in that direction with AEW, but maybe not.
Yeah, it seems like some people are real, like, I know, Tony Khan, the Young Bucks. I listen to Ali and Jungle Boys one as well. And then you have, like, people in character like MJF, for example. MJF was fucking.
He's the other one I watched.
Yeah, like if anyone who's listening to this hasn't watched the MJF post conference from AEW's Fyter Fest, watch the MJF post conference. It is really, really good.
He's great
and a great example of character work.
Yeah, so, for sure. Yeah. Did you notice him running in with the chair and then getting to the ring when Cody's all bleeding, seeing Cody in the middle of the ring, and then throwing the chair on the ground, jumping in the ring like, "Oh my God, Cody, are you okay?" Did you clock that? I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. MJF kind of a face in that moment. I don't think that dynamic works very well.
No, he was running in to clock Cody with the chair originally. He was going to do the beatdown, and then he sees your man Sean Spears has already done it. And so he then turns from, "I'm going to turn on Cody," to, "Cody Rhodes, you're my best friend again," which is like, that's one of the biggest heel moves you can do. He's being two-faced.
I didn't see it. Maybe it was there. Like, I didn't see it. I don't know. I can't really comment because I haven't seen it properly. So I guess I missed that. Let's talk about the actual match itself. Cody, Darby Allin. What did you think of the time limit draw?
Yeah, I mean, why? I don't like time limit draws, really. I think it's like a non-ending, with a few exceptions. There have been a few really good time limit draws, but it's
Okada, Omega 2.
Exactly. But in fact, that's the only one I can think of where I watched it and I thought, okay, that was still good. Every other time it's just been bad.
I actually really liked it. It gave a sense of pressure to close a match, and I think it was really well timed. I think the only issue I'd have going forward is if they try and do that spot one too many times. We've seen it like multiple times with like iron matches in WWE where it's like the last minute there's always a fall or a near fall, like
this is where
it's just such a cliche and it doesn't work. The reason why it works in this instance is because that is it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, because he was about to get the pin, wasn't he? And then the time ran out. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that detail, which is actually probably quite key. But something I didn't like about this match, and it kind of annoys me about New Japan matches sometimes as well, is like the referees not DQing people when they do stuff that they should be DQ'd for. Yep. Like Cody, as soon as he hit Darby Allin with the belt, that should have been the end of the match.
Yeah, I think I sent a message to one of my friends who were talking about Fyter Fest. It's just like, I said it should have ended DQ finish, Darby Allin wins. And I was just like, be consistent or be WWE.
Yeah.
That's how I put it. I thought that was the only real bad thing. That and the coffin drop onto the ring apron, which I thought, I did not enjoy watching that spot at all. Like,
that's like a kind of...
It looks really cool, and then you think spinal injuries down the line. Yeah. And I think that's such a young and reckless move to make, and I would not encourage that. And again, it goes back to the fact that I'm going to compare AEW to WWE a lot, because AEW, whilst they say they're the alternative, they are actually the competitor to WWE. So I'm going to compare them to WWE a lot. And I think the one thing, another thing is take less risks, because you want these guys to live longer. If you allow them to do whatever the hell they want, and this is something I've always appreciated WWE for, even though it limits them in terms of movesets, is, you've got to restrict some moves like that, because that's going to come back to AEW.
Yeah, exactly.
A year, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, who knows how long down the line. But people are going to look back at those spots and think, dumbass shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, exactly. We're living in a post-ECW kind of era, and there's a reason why half of their roster is dead. Which is a bit grim, but true.
I mean, with those two things aside, I will say that I think this was my match of the night. And I think this is a point that I wanted to make. It's such a shame the chair shot happened, because I really enjoyed the storytelling in this match. There's a couple of things that didn't work, like the disaster kick, body bag bit,
which I
thought was a cool idea, but it just wasn't properly executed. But apart from that, I thought this was a really good match. And for me, Cody has hit it out of the park 2 out of 2 times.
Yeah, it's surprising given that going into All Elite Wrestling, if you'd said, who do you think is the most capable member of the Elite, Cody Rhodes wouldn't be the one that anyone said, I don't think. He has a reputation as being like solid, but not great.
I think a lot of people forget, though, that Cody, apart from growing up in the WWE system, so he's never going to look the flashiest comparison to, say, the Will Ospreays and the Kota Ibushis.
Yeah, true.
Which is the level that he's supposed to be at when he was in New Japan. But I think people forget how great a storyteller he was. I think people forget that he was tipped to be WWE champion by a lot of people online when he was a mid-carder in WWE post-Legacy. Because of his great storytelling, his great promo work, and his great character work. And he had some really good matches in that company. And he's had some good matches in Ring of Honor and New Japan as well. I think we kind of forget that. Because, for every great match he has one that doesn't quite hit, like the Juice Robinson one at Wrestle Queendom.
Oh yeah, that wasn't so good.
I think that was mainly due to injury, so bad example, but yeah.
Oh yeah, something I just thought about. They're back to doing for his introduction. He was Cody Rhodes for a while, but now they're back to being Cody with Brandy Rhodes. Can he not use the Rhodes name anymore? Can he not be Cody Rhodes because WWE have? So why are they still doing the same intro?
So basically, I think Cody legally changed his middle name to Rhodes, so he can actually use Cody Rhodes. I think he's chosen not to because of. Well, he can't get sued by WWE. I know that for a fact. But I think it might be something to do with the fact that it's an it kind of identifies him with WWE a bit. So,
I see. Yeah.
I don't get why he doesn't do it. I mean, it sounds better Cody Rhodes than just Cody. Hey, it's Cody. Cody, and it also sounds like codeine.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So from one dangerous match to another, let's talk about the main event, which had a less dangerous, not surprisingly, with barbed wire and tables galore. The main event, the non-sanctioned match, although technically not the main event, as Justin Roberts said, between Jon Moxley and Joey Janela. Can we just start off with the pants, in my opinion? The absolute pants introduction to this match. If you don't want to watch this, just turn away. We're going to dark the lights and then come back up, and it's not an AEW presentation.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have everything that says AEW. They come out to the ring by the entrance. Oh, dear. Like, Jon Moxley didn't even come through the crowd. Like, Jon Moxley looked more unsanctioned in New Japan.
Yeah, I think the whole concept of a non-sanctioned match is a bit silly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone buys, like, the wrestling company doesn't want to put this match on, but the crowd wants to see it so badly, they're going to lend them some time on their international TV show. And
so the only time where I felt it worked was Takeover New Orleans between Gargano and Ciampa, but that's because they had the story of Gargano is no longer part of the NXT roster. He kept invading the show. In a time of kayfabe being prevalent, that would have worked even better. But as in terms of the story, Gargano must beat Ciampa in this unsanctioned match in order to reinstate him to NXT. That works. Here,
that makes sense.
Here, yeah. In this scenario, they should have just called it Death Match. We don't approve, but this is. They could work around it somewhere different, saying non-sanctioned. They should have just really called it Hardcore Match, just like Nakazawa and Jabali, which we'll talk on a bit later.
Yeah.
But, so what...
I think the reason they didn't call it a hardcore match is because the Nakazawa-Jabali match was called a hardcore match, but they should have called the Nakazawa-Jabali match some stupid video game pun or something, and then had this be a hardcore match. So anyway, as you were saying...
Yeah, it's maybe like Ultimate Fatality match for Nakazawa versus
exactly.
Jabali.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Broad for AEW Creative confirmed. Yeah, they're never going to hire me after I've panned them twice. No, it's just like WWE. Should I apply for a job there? No, I'll never get a job as soon as I listen to this podcast. But yeah, so overall thoughts on the match. and Sam.
I thought it was a fun enough match. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to win any awards. I don't think Joey Janela is a particularly great actual wrestler. I don't know, some people might disagree with me, but I think he is like the definition of doing stupid shit to get over. But I went into it not really expecting an incredible match, and they had some cool spots. The barbed wire board, that's the kind of thing you don't really see on TV anymore, so that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, they did have thumbtacks on the main roster a couple of years ago between Ambrose and Jericho, but that was a horrible cage match. Yeah, I didn't love this match. I thought it'd be, I mean, when you expect something like this between Moxley and Janela, I expect both of them blading.
Yeah, they didn't blade, did they?
I know I shouldn't encourage it or anything like that because I'm like 50-50 on the topic, but when it's something like this, not the story dictates it, but the match itself dictates that blood should be everywhere, and really you didn't get that much. Like you saw, I mean, the barbed wire spots are obviously vicious. There's obviously a lot of vicious spots. It was a fun match, but this was a main event.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah. And also, I didn't need to see Joey Janela taking a bump onto thumbtacks with bare feet. I know he's done it before, and I don't want. That was too gross. I mean, I know it's a death match.
Yeah, I'll say this. I hate to use this comparison again, but Gargano Ciampa from TakeOver Chicago, that was a similar sort of like style of match, and I felt that was more brutal, even though there's no blood. And I think a part of the issue here is there's no. I mean, there is story obviously on being the elite and on the road to Fyter Fest or whatever they call those shows, and I've seen some of that, and it's very good promo work by the two guys, etc. But I think the problem for me, and this is more of a personal thing, I think, is there's no real story leading to half these matches.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't feel engaged. And I think with the problem with Moxley versus Janela is something like an unsanctioned match doesn't usually kickstart a rivalry unless there's history there. And there's
it's the blow-off, isn't it?
Yeah, and you could say, oh, it's the old King of the Death match versus a new King of the Death match. That's fine, but that's like dream match territory. You know, you've got to build to that a bit more than just a blow off on a B show, which this is what it is, essentially.
It is a B show. Yeah, it's based on the fact that Joey Janela was having a fag indoors and John Moxley smoked some of the fag, and that was that. It was like a really, I didn't like the build to this at all. And Joey Janela's reason for being in the match, which was, I'm crazy and I want to die in the ring. So then, I thought his promos were a bit flat, but then Moxley's in response were obviously great because he's new wrestling Jesus, isn't he?
He could be the Steve Austin of AEW.
He could be the Steve Austin of whichever company he works in.
Well, that's how I felt about him in 2015, but they didn't put the WWE title on him until a year too late. So, you know.
Not his fault, though, is it?
No, not his fault. Not his fault. Like, I was thinking, oh, God, Seth Rollins, really? I was always an Ambrose fan. So, like, out of the three members of the Shield, Rollins was my least favorite, and Ambrose was my guy. And Reigns was just like, Reigns is pretty cool, but, you know, Ambrose is my dude. And no, they thought less of him.
He was the one I wanted to like the most, and then I saw him in a match, and he did that like weird, the wacky line, and then I just thought, this guy's shite. I mean, he wasn't obviously, and I know he's not, but that move just looks stupid. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that one move. So he's wrestling in jeans again. But I read an interview with New Japan today where he said, I don't ever want to wrestle in jeans again. So he obviously changed his mind on that one.
I think it's more to do with the fact that it's match type.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's essentially a street fight. You wear street clothes.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, always wear your jeans for a street fight, even though it's actually harder to wrestle in them.
Different spots.
Yeah, true.
Also, might protect you from the barbed wire a tiny bit. So.
Yeah, that's not bad thinking, I suppose, yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, I think he'll go back to the black tights. Next couple of shows he does. So
should we talk about? Oh, sorry.
Like the final segment, Kenny Omega beating down John Moxley in reciprocation of Double or Nothing.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Do you think John Moxley's last laugh was actually a really well done moment? Because I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was.
Him actually having the last laugh, and that was the last shot. I thought that was great.
Very, 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 very good. All he has to do is, get beaten up and then laugh about it. And I'm like throwing money at the television, whichever show this match happens on, I'll pay for it. I'll get it on pay-per-view, and if I could, I'd go and see it live.
Yeah,
that's how much I want to see it.
Yeah, no, seriously, I would love to see that match live. I think, for those who think I'm shitting on AEW, I'm not. I want them to succeed, but I'm really looking for All Out just for Moxley versus Omega alone.
Yeah, it's going to be could you argue that they're two of the best men's wrestlers in the world? Possibly,
Omega more than Moxley was never technical, but then again, you don't need technical when you can tell a story like Moxley.
No, exactly. So when I say best, I guess I'm talking not necessarily just in ring.
Oh, okay.
The total package,
I think Moxley's a better total package, if I'm honest.
I would agree.
But I think that's not to say Omega is not a total package in himself. I just think because, and again, WWE comparison, I know Moxley's been there, Omega hasn't, and to a lot of these guys, weekly TV will be a very new thing to them. So, that's why it's great that they're signing a few WWE guys here and there, like Moxley, even TNA guys like Christopher Daniels. That will help. So,
yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on to, speaking of Kenny Omega, the Elite versus the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid. What are your thoughts on this match?
I'm going to be honest with you, Brod. I was thinking about this before the show, and I realised I can't really remember much about this match. I was definitely watching it, but it just washed over me like another 6-man flippy tag match. I mean, it had cool spots in it, but yeah.
I remember the Hadouken, and I remember the failed Meltzer driver. But that's about it. So this is embarrassing. I was hoping you would know a bit more.
No,
a lot of people love this match. I just thought, this is not. And I love the Lucha Brothers. I love Kenny Omega. First time seeing Laredo Kid, I admit I was impressed by his athleticism. But when I see Young Bucks, I just switch off mentally because I just think there's going to be too much going on for me.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened in this one. Sorry.
No, I'll let you finish.
I was just going to say, I think if I saw this in a swimming pool in Crystal Palace, then I would be like, yeah, great match. But this is a big pay-per-view, not some house show.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted to engage with this match, and I failed to do so, and therefore it's frustrating because I can't really comment on it, but it goes back to and I think I'm in the minority when I say this, so I am saying I am in the minority. But when it comes to the Young Bucks, I know they're talented, right? They have the gift of the gab. They are marketing geniuses. The fact that they got AEW existed is absolutely amazing. Kudos to them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They are terrific in-ring talents in terms of what they can do. But I always feel everything's an in-joke. Which really annoys me. They don't seem to take wrestling seriously sometimes, and I know I have a tendency to laugh at some really bad comedy. I laugh at the 24/7 stuff. I think a lot of people do, but that's because of R-Truth's delivery. I'm using that as an example. I can laugh at some of this. I laughed at the Fyter Festival stuff, which we'll get on to. So it's just something about them where I just think, rein it in and just be a bit more serious, because you are an amazing talent, but my God, you're an amazing talent for house shows. I don't I don't ever want to see you on TV.
The thing is, I have seen them have like serious matches where they get serious during the match. They can do it. They just don't.
Yeah, and they can sell. They can do everything. They can do everything. Like, you know, they are one of the best tag teams in the world, and I can't even argue that. That tag team match with the Golden Lovers they had last year, phenomenal stuff.
Exactly. But that wasn't the same as here. That it's very different.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I have, which is an issue, is they're going for a more sports-like presentation, which they clearly succeeded. I wouldn't say succeeded with, but it's going towards that way with Cody versus Darby Allin with the time limit draw, and then you get something like this, which is just catering to fans, and not that it's a bad thing, but I think the biggest problem I have with this show, and this match kind of summarizes it, is it doesn't have a clear identity. AEW does not have a clear identity yet. And I don't think they know what they want to do. Like, everything was different. That's great. And at the same time, you just go, so do you want to be the sports site presentation where you're almost UFC-like? Do you want to have comedy moments? Do you want to be sports entertainment redefined? What do you want to do? At the end of the day, all they're doing is a bunch of in-jokes at the moment, and that doesn't really work for me. It's just a shame because they have an amazing roster, they have amazing creative. They just need to establish identity, I think. And I think that's my primary problem.
Yeah, that's why I think it's fair to say that you can't really form a conclusion about whether AEW is a success or not until they start doing weekly TV, because that's going to be where they find their footing or don't.
Exactly. So shall we move on to something which I thought was a really great match? I'm not sure if you did, but the four-way match between Adam Page, Jimmy Havoc, Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus and MJF. I thought this was a really fun match. I think everyone got their spots in. Everyone looked pretty strong. Good booking in the sense that Adam Page gets a win. MJF doesn't eat the pin. I think that was equally important for his character. In terms of four-way matches, in terms of the fact it was only like 11 minutes long, they did a lot of stuff, and I really, really enjoyed this match. Yeah,
same. I think I went into it not really expecting that much, but yeah, they definitely exceeded my expectations. Everyone, like you say, got their shit in. Also, it's really nice seeing Jimmy Havoc getting like a big successful run in a big company.
Yeah, I think Havoc could be very interesting. You know, I was trying to think like where could he fit in terms of what AEW is going for, and I still think that way, but I think he does make a solid mid-carder, and he has elements of personality which could really work, and he has a look that will be unique in comparison to everyone else. Yeah, exactly. Weirdly, I do want to see him form a tag team with Darby Allin.
That would be pretty cool. So,
I think like Darby Allin is like Jimmy Havoc's like Padawan. I would love to see that.
Then you can build that into a mental feud. Like, yeah, that would be a big like, bloody horrific match.
Jimmy Havoc and Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Book it for the opening match. Just chuck in SCU there, just saying this is the worst town I've ever been in again, and done.
That's it. I also liked when they're introducing Jimmy Havoc for this match, all the other wrestlers get weighing 225 pounds. Jimmy Havoc gets weighing 14 stone. I was like, yeah, that's the weights we like in England. Confusing ones.
Yeah, I'm like, I weigh less than Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, he's not a big lad either.
Yeah. Oh my God, I should really put on the muscle.
Yeah, he's obviously more ripped than I thought he'd be. But I think he's going to surprise people in this company, because I think a lot of people pin him as a deathmatch guy, and he does do that a lot because he's good at it. But he actually can wrestle really, really, really well. I
mean, that's why Progress selected him as their first world champion, if I'm right, or one of the first world champions. And I think he he's responsible for the rise. One of the main guys responsible for the rise of British wrestling, and there's a reason why. He's like very good character work. He teaches a lot of people how to do things safely, even in death matches. Like, he's a very good teacher by all accounts.
Yeah,
very good guide, and I think even though like big TV and big arenas will be new to him, I think he'll take to that like a duck to water. He's got that sort of personality by all accounts.
Yeah.
So, he's overall a really good guy. So
yeah.
Also, one last thing, that insane move Jungle Boy did off the top turnbuckle to dive onto all three men. Never seen that before. Loved it. And I don't usually love flippy shit. So
Jungle Boy is going to go far. Again, another solid mid-carder. Yeah. More flippy and less kind of cutty than Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, do you think Jungle Boy could be like the Ricochet or Will Ospreay of AEW?
Yeah, I think they could definitely build him to something like that. And
also good t-shirt match.
Yes, yeah. And the tag team, A Boy and His Dinosaur.
Yeah, it really works.
I want to watch them.
Yeah, it really works. It's just, didn't Justin Robertson, it was the commentary. It's just like, he's coming down on his dinosaur. It's just like,
yeah, fine. That's just normal.
I mean, okay, I've complained about AEW's identity issues, but that's too funny, so I'll let that slide.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that was really great. So from one multi-man match to another, woman match this time, Rio defeats Yuka Sakazaki and Nyla Rose in a three-way match. A lot of praise has been given to this match. What were your thoughts, Sam?
I thought it was a good match. I thought there was a lot of wobbliness. Yeah. Maybe, I don't want to say botching, because it was like they recovered from it and they generally did work it into the match when they fucked up, but they did fuck up quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm surprised about the high amount of praise this match received, considering I think the final third of this match was excellent. I think it really made Nyla Rose look strong, even in defeat. But yeah, I think my issues are twofold. A, what you said, and B, Nyla Rose not winning the match. I think I think Nyla Rose is potentially where your money is at. Like, Awesome Kong is not going to be there for too long, I think. Like, she has retired before in professional wrestling, so I'm not sure she's going to stay around for the long term. And I think after not winning the first match, you need to build her up a bit. So I think that's a mistake, not putting her over Rio and Yuka Sakazaki, because I think you had a huge opportunity to make
a star.
Yeah, a star, and you need monster heels on both sides of the roster, and it's something that WWE has failed, to do with Nia Jax, in my opinion. Yeah. Step on up with Awesome Kong and Nyla Rose in AEW, and I really want to see those two women like get pushed in terms of like heel work, and I think that's been missed. I think this is a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree. Nyla Rose has actually surprised me a lot. I wasn't really expecting her to be that great, because I think she was relatively unknown before appearing on AEW. Actually, she's very good at wrestling. Yeah,
I really like the spot where she caught Riho and then Yuka Sakazaki at the same time in that double cross. And then the transitions afterwards were really good. But as I said, I think the final third was great, but I think I'm not connecting with these two Japanese girls at all.
See, interesting you'd say that, because I thought, even though they're a little bit botchy, I thought something as overall actually more of a takeaway from Stardom and the way they train their wrestlers in general is like powerful facial expressions and expressions of like emotion. You can pick up from any Stardom wrestler like straight away what they're feeling. So there was a great spot in this match where I think Yuka and Riho had been teaming up to on Nyla Rose, obviously, because they're so much smaller. But then Riho turns on Yuka Sakazaki, and the look on her face was like, I can't believe you've betrayed me. And like, I got so drawn into it that I was like, fuck you, Riho. How can you do that to your friend, And yeah. We'll come to it later, but same with the Stardom girls that appeared at the Eve show as well. All the same.
Yeah, I just don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just thought, like maybe I've been conditioned in such a way from years of bad WWE treatment to Japanese superstars that I'm kind of like, they'll never get over. So
yeah, I don't know how well known these ones are.
No, I don't think they are.
I think Riho is mates with Kenny Omega, or Kenny Omega knows her.
Yeah, like Kenny's a huge fan of Riho.
Is he now?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Okay, fair enough. And last thing on the main show before we touch on the pre-show briefly, CIMA defeats Christopher Daniels in some sort of singles-based rematch from the opener at Double or Nothing, where SCU went over OWE. They were
called the Strong Hearts.
Strong Hearts. Yeah, they're from the OWE promotion. I'm getting there. I don't have a script for once, so allow it, ladies and gentlemen.
We're winging this one.
Yeah, we are winging this. So, CIMA, Christopher Daniels. I thought this was a strong opener.
Yeah.
50-50 booking. Is that the only problem with this? Or do you think they need to put the Strong Heart guys over a bit because,
So, my question would be, when does it become 50-50 booking? How many matches do you have to have before it becomes... Because, it does... To have had two matches where you won one and they won one, that doesn't feel... Because, that leads then into the natural third match being the final one. So when does it become 50-50 booking?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm just asking the question. I think sometimes you just go, oh, well, they exchange victories. And we're very guilty of it. I think...
Yeah, that's true.
When AEW becomes weekly TV, we're going to probably have that same sort of criticism from time to time, as that we do with Monday Night Raw, where they exchange victories, therefore it's 50-50 booking. So that's why I'm just throwing it out there.
Again. Yeah, that makes sense. I think also, I don't know, I'd take that phrase to mean like a more general thing where every time two wrestlers have two matches, one will win one and one will win the other, as like a trope for the whole show. In like a similar vein to like, the G1 winner never loses the briefcase or whatever, like New Japan has, or the champion never loses their title on a house show, like things where you just know the result of the match already. But maybe AEW hasn't been around enough to do that. But yeah, I thought this was a fine opening match. Pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun opening match too. And I think the right person did actually win, by the way. Just testing you. So let's talk about the pre-show briefly. And this got panned by quite a lot of people, which I think is unfair because I think one match was really good, and that was a three-way tag team match.
Hell yeah. That might be... I think that was possibly one of my favourite matches on the card.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite matches, yeah.
The Private Party really impressed me. They're very good. I
think that is a great way of getting someone over in defeat. They're really bit. As much as I'm not a huge fan of the commentary on AEW, I think they did a great job in terms of really, really putting over certain people tonight. And I think they did a really good job of putting Private Party over and just saying, hey, these guys are great. They can do it all. And I think Best Friends winning kind of makes sense because they're a bit more established. So it's all done well until the Dark Order.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. But
yet again.
Just to quickly refer back, you mentioned the commentary there. I thought that this show was much better than the previous show, with a few exceptional moments. Like there's one call where Excalibur goes, you've got to be wondering, this far into the match, are they gassed right now? I was like, mate, just ask if they're tired. The insider terms, he needs to stop doing that. But apart from that, I thought it was JR knew all the wrestlers way better, had interesting insight. Excalibur was actually bearable on play-by-play. It was a bit better, I thought, anyway.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, Excalibur will improve over time. I think they do need to rate. That's another thing. It's just like the Young Bucks reining insider references and jokes because you're trying to appeal to the mass audience at the end of the day.
This is not a niche anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we as fans forget that. I think you can be intelligent without being an insider, and I think that's a failing that AEW is not trying to differentiate at the moment, because WWE insults your intelligence on a weekly basis. AEW does not, but instead it's very exclusionary.
Yes. Yeah.
People. And then we saw Ali versus librarian woman Leva Bates. Oh dear. I thought this was boring.
Yeah, I thought this was the most WWE that AEW's ever come close to being. I do not understand the librarian gimmick. I do not think it's funny. I'm sure both of them are great character actors, and I'm sure they're great wrestlers, but I don't want to see them on TV.
Leva Bates got over as blue pants in NXT, so I had some hopes for her in this role, but yeah, this sucks. I think it sucks for Leva and Peter Avalon. I think they're both capable of much better. It sucks for Ali too, because, well, she's not the best wrestler. She's actually a really good character worker. Like her stuff on Impact with Rosemary and the Sinister Minister and all that in the recent months, the Demon Bunny, has all been a bit fun. I
don't watch Impact, but was she the lady who had the Bride at the Altar gimmick for a while? No, that was someone else.
That was someone else, but that was too young. Ali was a bunny, and then Su Yung possessed her. And I can't remember the exact story, but essentially Ali got a throat cut, and that ended her time at Impact.
Wow.
She actually died. It's like, I thought you were dead. Kayfabe's broken. It was gory as well. I was like, well,
Su Young's pretty brutal, as we'll talk about in a little while.
Oh, definitely. Eve review coming up very shortly. Last match to touch on: Michael Nakazawa defeated Alex Bailey in a hardcore match, which involved a kiddie pool, inflatable weapons,
arcade buttons,
joystick of sorts,
GameCube controller.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun, but why?
I thought this match should have been a dark match. I mean, it was, wasn't it? It was on the pre-show, but like it's not for us. It's for the live crowd who've been at CEO all weekend, and they're all like video games, and it wasn't really for me. I don't know or care who Alex Bailey is really.
MJF should have come out and cut his promo right there.
Yeah, he should have
saved it. I used to like video games until I lost my virginity. Line of the century. I mean, I will say this: Bailey wasn't as bad as I thought he'd be.
Yeah, that's true.
For someone relatively untrained, well done. I can't hate on a guy who steps on a ring.
He did some moves.
Nepotism aside, he got in the ring, he hit some moves, he took some bumps. He's gonna have a few bruises. Kudos to him. Yeah, I think that's the fairest thing I could say. It was pants. It should have been It should have been a dark match. It should have been before the pre-show, because at the end of the day, this was free for the United States, all of it. So it's essentially the same show.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a failure, and I don't think it helps Michael Nakazawa to get over. But then again, I think he's supposed to be the comedy act.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not that funny.
I was thinking that too.
Powerfully, painfully unfunny. If he does that baby oil spot in every match, I'm just going to start skipping them.
Yeah. Rather watch Elias.
Yeah.
That's saying something. Let's do our usual thing: grade, match of the night, MVP, whatever order you want to pick.
Let's start with the grade then. I'll give mine first, and I think I'm going to say a B-, or maybe a C+, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm going to C+ too. I know I gave Stomping Grounds a B last week. I prefer Stomping Grounds.
Ooh.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
I feel the heat already.
Unfortunately, it's true. Yeah, I didn't enjoy this show that much. I thought there was good parts to it, but as a whole, I just didn't love it. And I think I'll probably get more invested once TV rolls around. So I think it's just going to be a personal thing for the first few months until All Out. So
yeah,
I think that's just my own perspective.
No, I think that's a lot of people feeling quite similar.
Yeah. So Cody versus Darby Allin was my match tonight. What was yours?
Probably the 4-way actually. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably second on my list. It was between that and Cody Allen versus Allen for me. So.
Mine was between that 4-way and the tag match, which I nearly said.
Yeah, no, the tag match was up there as well. I thought those three really stood out to me. So yeah. Yep. And who's your MVP?
Can I have Private Party, even though they're a tag team, or do I have to pick one of them? I don't, because I don't know which one's which yet.
Yeah, A, that, and B, like it's one act. So yeah.
Yeah. I think they were my MVPs. I was kind of expecting them to be another like Alex Jabailey level hiring, and they were actually really good.
Yeah, my MVP was Michael. No, my MVP is my boy. I'm going to keep saying this. My boy, MJF.
Oh yeah,
I love his character work. Loved his promo. The Fatal 4-Way is fantastic. Can't really say too much beyond that. I think twice in a row he's been my MVP. So
he is very, very good. Also, his picture on Wikipedia is excellent. I'm just hovering over it now. He's just doing an incredibly smug face. It's like the most MJF picture of MJF.
Salt of the earth, MJF.
yeah. Salt of the earth. Have you seen that video of him on some American talk show at age like 4 years old singing "You Are My Sunshine"?
Oh my god, that's such an MJF pic. No, but
it's weird.
Have seen it. Yeah, I have seen it go around the internet, and I'm like, I don't want kayfabe to ever break with MJF. He's 23. He is 23.
Yeah, I know.
I am 27, and I have accomplished nothing in my life except for this podcast.
He's 10 years younger than me. It's a joke.
Yeah, you look younger than me, so it's fine. God damn you, MJF. You're so talented.
Fuck you, MJF.
You're so talented, MJF. God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You.
I was going to do a transition, but I completely botched that. Transition time. So, yeah, after this break, we'll speak about more talented people, this time from the wonderful world of Eve Pro Wrestling and their show, Wrestle Queendom 2, just after this short break.
This podcast is affiliated with the WWL Meetup Group. WWL, or Watch Wrestling London, get together with many fans to watch pay-per-view replays on Monday nights and attend live events across London, be it WWE, Progress, Rev Pro, Eve, and many more. It's a great way to watch wrestling with friendly people, and all are welcome to join. You can find out more at watchwrestling.london, or just Google Watch Wrestling London and you'll find the meetup page.
So, from one show we watched this weekend to another one that we were there live for, Sam, and that was E's Wrestle Queendom 2 from York Hall in Bethnal Green, East London.
Yes.
This was a really fun show, and I have no regrets going. I completely missed out on the first one, which I was sad. I'm not sure why. I think I was away. So to go to Wrestle Queendom 2 was pretty fun. My first Eve show, actually. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Well, what about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. The Wrestle Queendom 1 was my show of the year last year.
Really?
It was really good. Like in terms of live shows, there was other shows I went to that had like individual better matches on them, but that show was like from start to finish just a barnstormer. This show also, delivered. Lived up to the high standard of last year's Wrestle Queendom 2 as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree. This is a really, really good show. If it weren't for the fact I went to New York for WrestleMania week, I would probably put this as my top show of the year that I've been to live. Actually, no. NXT TakeOver New York will always win. But apart from that, in terms of the actual in-ring stuff, this was paid 20 quid only, and I got 8-9 great matches on the whole. I can't really complain about this at all in terms of the in-ring wrestling. Unfortunately, we're going to start off on a negative.
Well, not necessarily negative, but sad.
Yeah, it's negative for the world of professional wrestling, but
yes, that's a good way of
some
putting
could
it.
come out of it. Charlie Morgan, unfortunately, announced her retirement. She, of course, injured her foot, leg area in her first Shimmer show over the United States earlier in the year. This is after she debuted for NXT UK, I believe, as well, being a part of that. But she wasn't on this card, obviously, and she announced her retirement in a separate segment halfway through the show. Not a dry eye in the house, safe to say.
Yeah. I was like Charlie Morgan. It's really a shame that she is not wrestling anymore, because was extremely good in the ring, and as that promo showed, she's fucking great on the mic as well. I mean, even though I guess it's easy to make an emotional speech when they're just your emotions, but still, I got completely drawn into this. I think we all needed a little bit of a support afterwards. Yeah, we got very sad.
By the way, when I was crying, there was a massive plate of onions next to me. That's why.
Oh yeah, of course. We were all sniffing loads of onions.
Yeah, all sniffing loads of onions.
We're very manly men.
And that was not the fat guy in front of me either. He actually wore deodorant for once. I'm joking. I'm trying to joke out of this because I am not sure how to even describe how sad this is, because ultimately she was a phenomenally talented wrestler.
Yeah.
And great. I mean, seen her in progress a couple of times. She was great, very good character work, very good promo work. She had all the tools to succeed, and I think if she wanted to, I think a couple of years down the line she would kick ass, whether it would be an NXT, AEW, Impact. She could easily be on one of those shows.
Yeah, no doubt.
Those tremendous rosters and fit right in without any problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute shame. Absolute shame.
Yeah, but hopefully she'll still get to stay around Eve in some like on-screen role or on commentary. I know she trains at the Eve dojo as well, and foot injury isn't going to stop her from being able to do that. So still going to be benefiting the world of professional wrestling as an upside. Yeah,
and even not, like, she's doing it for her health, and I think that's the most important thing.
It's in the age of Kota Ibushi's and Darby Allin's. It's nice to see a wrestler making a sensible decision about living to old age. In fact, that's what she said in her promo. I'd quite like to grow old.
Yeah, I think, we see so many horror stories from guys in the 80s and 90s passing way before their time that I think we forget why certain organizations promote safe wrestling and why certain places don't like chair shots to the head, why certain places don't like pile drivers. Of course, this is not related to foot injury at all, but it's why people don't take risks, and I think it does promote safety in the ring, and it does promote your health is still important, even though you're beating your body up for the sake of entertainment, which is what professional wrestling is. It's entertainment at the end of the day. It's completely different.
Yep, agreed. Completely agreed.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, moving on to a positive note. Can we talk about the Stardom exhibition match? Kagetsu versus Mayu Iwatani.
Yes.
First of all.
Yes.
Those ladies, pretty fucking good at wrestling. Dave Meltzer says Mayu Iwatani is, he says it's like the top 3 wrestlers in the world are Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Mayu Iwatani. And I think she definitely showed that this weekend. She's very good.
Kairi Sane in the top 3. Huh, that's interesting.
According to Meltzer, yeah.
Yeah, I unlike a lot of people, I do actually respect Meltzer's opinion. So I'm not gonna dispute him too much. He knows more about professional wrestling than I do. But yeah, Mayu Iwatani is really impressive. I also really like Kagetsu. I think for a time limit draw, yeah, this is definitely one of the matches of the night. I really had loads of great spots in this match. I thought it was absolutely fascinating to watch something completely different. Which is what's it's first ever time I've seen like two Stardom ladies in the ring properly against each other, and yeah, it was really great stuff.
They're very, very fast, and like I was saying earlier, like what struck me about both of them's facial expressions completely. Like they don't speak English, so they can't interact with the crowd that way. But I was instantly like able to understand the emotions they were feeling from their powerful facial expressions. I mean, I think Gigetsu in particular was really expressive. I think she's a phenomenal talent as well. Like, she has such a striking look in comparison to a lot of female wrestlers. Yeah, absolutely.
She looks like a badass just straight from the top, you know. Like, I will never want to mess with her, I'll tell you that. She's the leader of Oedo Tai, who I think are like the big heel faction in Stardom. So she's like Queen Heel. Yeah. I think. Which is quite interesting. So we can move on to the EVE International 3-way elimination match, which Jamie Hayter won with Kagetsu at ringside because Jamie Hayter's part of that faction. She defeats Utami. Do you want to pronounce it?
Okay. Utami Hayashishita. I mean, I'm just saying it quickly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah. So Utami, and I'll just say the first name.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, is it the first name?
Hayashishita, I think is her surname.
Hayashishita. And Nina Samuels in a 3-way elimination match. Hayter gets the pin on Utami first and then defeats Nina Samuels afterwards. I really enjoyed this match. I thought I wouldn't, because it's a 3-way elimination match, and I thought, Hayter's going to win because she won the right to have a title opportunity. I thought it would be obvious booking. It was obvious booking, but still there's a lot of drama involved.
Yeah, exactly. I was surprised that Utami was the one that got pinned first, actually. I don't know why, but I think Nina Samuels is like a bigger star in EVE than most other places. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, Nina Samuels on NXT UK from day one, so you're going to go with the WWE last towards the end, I was surprised.
Yeah.
Which is a shame for Utami, but as defending champion, you never want a champion to go out first. But then again, it goes, could Nina Samuels win this, actually? So,
and then it turned out, no, actually. Nobody on NXT UK is allowed to keep any of their belts in EVE, unfortunately.
Oh. So, do you want to go into the controversial finish?
Yeah.
Which left a slight sour taste in everyone's mouth, I think, in a good way. Maybe.
Yeah, it was. I mean, so for context, dear listener, the main event was Viper versus Kaylee Ray, who is currently EVE champion for the EVE title, the main big title. It was a great match. Kaylee Ray won, but obviously both of those ladies are going to...
Viper won.
Oh, did Viper win?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't read. Viper won, yeah. Viper won, but because they're both joining NXT UK, they can't keep the title. So out comes Rhea O'Reilly and two people, Livy Grace and Nightshade. I don't actually know who they are. Nightshade was in the tag match earlier. No, she wasn't. It's a different match.
No, she's a singles match.
Yeah.
She's in the opening match.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. And yeah, they ran in, beat up Viper. Rhea O'Reilly cuts a little promo because she's EVE matchmaker, and she says, you asked me for 3 matches. You asked me for, I can't remember who it was, Kaylee Ray, and I gave it to you. And you asked me for Jordan Grace, and I gave it to you. And you asked for Rhea O'Reilly, who she is, and you're getting it right now. So it was like Money in the Bank cash-in, but without the Money in the Bank. It's like Money in the Bank meets like corrupt Raw GM storyline, basically.
Yeah. it's kind of how I imagined William Regal winning the WWE title when he was Raw GM.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did not like the execution of this at all. I think they would have benefited from going, just send off the fans happy. It's a big show. Like, this is why WrestleMania and Starrcade always closed out with a face victory.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. At the end of any other Eve show, this would have been fine.
Yeah. New Japan, they kind of do this similar sort of thing with Wrestle Queendom. Like, you usually have the face win. And in this instance, you have Viper cut a promo saying, as you know, I'm off to do bigger, better things. This place has been great. Unfortunately, due to my contractual obligations, I have to vacate this title, but it's been an honor winning this title for the first time in my career, and hopefully not the only time. And just leave it like that. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
I know they've got stories to pursue, but then you could set up a tournament, which a lot of people love. I don't, but a lot of people love, and get to introduce characters that way.
Eve already has they have the She-1. They have like a purpose-built a league style, so it's like the G1. They have that tournament already, so they could have just said the title's vacant. We'll do it in the She-1 instead.
Yeah, maybe, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not that well versed in Eve booking, so I can't really criticize too much. I will say this, though. I think this deflects from the fact that Viper versus Katie Ray was a really good story and a really good match.
A really good match, yeah.
First time seeing both those women in the ring, like live. I've seen them before, and ICW. I think they had a Queen and Death match or something like that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Fear and Loathing, which looked really awesome. If you like hardcore wrestling, check that out. I think it's on ICW's channel on YouTube. But yeah, I thought this was a fantastic technical match. I thought this was a really good match, and it's a shame it ended the way it did. I understand why they did it. I just think it could have been done differently.
Yeah, completely agree. They had to get the title off Viper somehow, but maybe they could have waited until it wasn't the end of their big yearly show. Maybe as a little suggestion.
Speaking of title matches, shall we just go on to the Eve tag title match briefly?
Yeah.
The Wrestle Friends became the first ever Eve Tag Team title champions, defeating the Diamond Vogue Collective of Ginny and Mercedes Blaze, and the Medusa Complex, the tag team of Charlie Evans and Millie McKenzie. Was it me, or were the faces here, which were the Wrestle Friends, weren't as over?
Yeah, I think they're both, like, if you go to an Eve show at the Res Gallery, they're both mega well known. But outside of Eve, I don't think Erin Angel and Jetta are that well known at all. I don't think they've really appeared on any other major promotions or anything, which means that the crowd reaction from them was just a bit flat. Yeah.
Do you also think it doesn't help that Ginny and Millie McKenzie are obviously really well known at this point in comparison to the other?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that really comes to mind of why it didn't succeed. I think the other thing as well, it just felt a bit messy, and it's very hard to do three-way tag team title matches. You see it on WWE. I hate referencing them all the time, but yeah, you see it now and again in those shows, and it's just like, who's actually legal? Yeah,
it gets really confusing.
And I think what could have been better is either just tornado style, or just have one woman from each team in the ring at the same time. I would prefer that. And that's not just a criticism of this match; it's just a criticism of this match type.
Yes,
I think that would be better booking, in my opinion. Just it allows for fans to follow it a bit better, because being there live is like, so who's legal? And I think the other thing that really annoyed me a bit, I think Erin Angel or Jetta was tapping out Mercedes Blaze, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And I think Millie McKenzie is preventing Ginny on the wrong team, I hasten to add, from breaking up the the submission attempt or the pin attempt. I can't remember how exactly finished, but I remember watching that and I was thinking, but why would Minnie McKenzie?
Yeah, why would she do that? Yeah,
doesn't work.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess in their defense, even though they're quite well-established wrestlers, I suppose, you have to consider the fact that there are no companies with women's tag divisions anywhere in the UK. So this is likely like one of the first tag matches these people have ever been in. Or maybe I'm being a bit harsh there.
Not one of the first tag matches they've ever been in. Like, okay, you don't have tag team championships, but, you know, there are women's tag matches.
True.
Like,
but even then, you have the three-way stipulation makes it a bit more weird and complicated as well. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting great things from this match, and it delivered on them. Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about the rest of the card or anything else briefly?
The only other match I wanted to touch on was the Undeath match, which I fucking loved. It was great. Su Yung, the Corpse Bride Su Yung versus Session Goth Martina. Really good fun death match. Very silly.
Oh, it was silly. It was so Martina, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I really hope she doesn't go to, like, if she does go to NXT UK, that's brilliant for her. Nothing against it. Just as a personal note, I really enjoy her, like, just as she is on the independents.
Yeah, I agree. But this might have been almost like, because she pulled out, she was in Combat Zone Wrestling's Tournament of Death, which is a deathmatch tournament this year, but she pulled out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. My God. Could you actually imagine that? Like,
it would be chaos.
The Tournament of Death, by the way, if you haven't seen it, listener, there's a Vice documentary on it. Very eye-opening. I watched a few matches. It's actually one of the first independent promotions I ever paid attention to, and hence why I knew who John Moxley was when he signed with FCW and when he got called up. I was like, holy shit. That guy.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy's insane. And you have to be insane to wrestle one of those tournaments.
Which Martina apparently is. Yeah, that Vice documentary, would definitely recommend watching it. Extremely grim. Like, you don't normally get a view, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but you don't normally get to see, like, after the death match. You don't get to see what happens backstage afterwards, and so that's extremely eye-opening and intensely gruesome.
I kind of feel sorry for the promoter. He gets so much hate.
Yeah, DJ Hyde. Yeah, he does.
Poor guy. But anyway...
but this match featured a giant baby. This match, Martina was in trouble, and then a giant inflatable baby suit person appeared on the stage and gave her a weapon for her to fight back. Another point in the match, all of Su Young's clones all appeared from all around the arena.
Undead bridesmaids. Yeah. I was so happy when they came out. I'm like, yes, I've seen this on Impact.
No, it's happening for real.
Yeah, it's kind of a kayfabe breaking moment that, like, behind us. There are some doors, obviously, to the actual entrance of York Hall, and there they were, just waiting for the spot, and like,
trying to slyly watch the match.
I'm like, I kind of tempted to go, oh, hi there.
They probably would have just told you to fuck off.
Yeah. The one match I will just want to touch on last season, Laura Di Matteo defeats Jordan Grace.
Oh, yeah.
Great to see Jordan Grace live. Laura Di Matteo, is she destined to become the next Eve champion after Rhea Ripley?
I think so. I could definitely see them putting her in the Charlie Morgan position. Laura Di Matteo. She's got quite a similar
stature.
Stature, personality, way she carries herself in the ring, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I could see her filling that spot too, and she's really good. I didn't realize that she's super Italian either. I thought she was just British, but from, like, her parents were from Italy, and then she spoke, and I was like, oh no, damn, you come a long way to do this. Fair play. Yeah,
you don't get many Italian wrestlers.
No, exactly.
Apart from Santino Marella, obviously.
Well, yeah, of course.
I don't know why I'm hating on him. I love that guy.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He does actually pre-show stuff for Impact, I think, these days.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Yeah, or like kind of like what WWE used to do with Confidential with Mean Gene.
Oh, yeah.
There's that sort of stuff, which is quite fascinating to actually watch. But yeah, no. So shall we do this typical grade?
Grade, yeah.
Yep.
I feel like when I grade it, I should point out that I have a tendency to think wrestling I saw live is way better than anything I ever see on TV. So I'm going to give this show a B+. Yeah. Actually, that feels like I'm pitching it a bit low. No, I think a B+. Yeah, B+.
A-.
Yeah.
I'm giving it A-. I think. Yeah, if it wasn't for the ending and the tag team title match, which has some questionable logic to it, this would have been a solid. This would definitely be an A. Apart from that, can't really fault it. All the wrestling was great in this show. Yeah, and I can't wait for my next Eve show. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. If you've never been to see an Eve show, dear listener, get yourself down to one of their shows at the Resistance Gallery. There's nothing else like it. It's incredible atmosphere. Tiny venue. It's really cool.
Yep. Yeah. It's a really, actually, I've seen Lucha Britannia there, and yeah, I can vouch for that. I really like the venue too. It's kind of a weird underground vibe. So yeah, that's why I like it. So yeah, recommend it. Up next, we'll be talking about the latest appointments to WWE's executive director positions. Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff being executive directors of Raw and SmackDown, and what that means for the future.
Hey, you! If you like the podcast, then remember to like the Holy Shoot Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Holy Shoot Pod. Do it! Do it now!
WWE have recently announced 2 new appointments to Monday Night Raw and Tuesday Night SmackDown. Actually, the executive director position of both shows. Paul Heyman is the executive director of Raw. Eric Bischoff is the executive director of SmackDown. And apparently they are not televised roles, and they're going to be looking after the creative of Raw and SmackDown going forward, with final sign-off being from Vince McMahon. Not only that, it's been recently advertised that these shows, which I think are happening in the American Airlines Center in Dallas, that Paul Heyman would feature on Raw. He didn't last night. We're recording this on Tuesday night, so if Eric Bischoff does appear on SmackDown, then we're wrong. But Eric Bischoff has been advertised to appear on SmackDown. It's been a bit of a weird situation, to say the least, because apparently both men were supposed to start in a couple of weeks, but Paul Heyman's influence was felt last night on Raw, and I thought we should talk about it. So, Sam, what are your thoughts on the appointments, first and foremost?
I'm I guess optimistic but skeptical, because it is at the end of the day the WWE, and so both guys, they could be as good because as they like, they're still going to get Vince to fuck. I mean, Paul Heyman's got fuck. Yeah, that's the expression, getting Vince to fuck. Vince, there's a D on the end of Vince.
What?
Like,
I mean,
to be vinced, like rinsed. Yeah. I realised it works better on text rather than out loud, that phrase. Yeah. Let's not bring it in as a thing. Okay, so they're going to get done by Vince, basically. Oh, that's not even better. But yeah, I think Heyman's got experience doing that, and when he was GM of not when he was heading up SmackDown Creative, they did outrate Raw for a few weeks. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, 2002, 2003 SmackDown was the peak of SmackDown. That was under Paul Heyman's creative, and then they decided to move the creative to Stephanie McMahon for reasons, to say the least. Yeah, I think it's interesting appointments if they do have more creative control than anybody else has had in recent times, then I think they could be on to a winner. I'm not so sure about Bischoff as a creative guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did get WCW to rival WWE, so there is that, and I think he did brilliantly with the NWI, probably the hottest angle in WCW's history. So he does have he does have a good track record. But then obviously seeing the death of WCW, Impact's decline.
Yeah, Impact, exactly.
I'm not sure like what his involvement was in Impact, so I can't say for sure. But I think he'll be a good appointment in the sense that if he is there to oversee the transition from the USA Network to Fox, then I think that's a good transition because he is actually a television guy.
True.
He makes reality TV for a living, so I think it could be a very good appointment.
Let's just hope he doesn't bring back Vince Russo, because he did that in WCW, and that's arguably what killed it. And I'm pretty sure he did it in TNA as well, because that's how Russo ended up working there. Oh, yeah. Probably argue that did quite a lot of damage to TNA as well.
Yep. Remember when TNA was like AEW?
Those were the days.
And then they went live on.
Remember the X Division? Good times.
It still exists. Yeah.
Of course.
Impact is a good show. You should watch Slammiversary on Sunday night or Monday. Trust me, it's a good show. But anyway, I'm more optimistic after seeing a few bits from Raw. I haven't seen everything from Raw this week. I'll probably watch the entire show for once.
I was thinking that as well, which is like surprising for me.
Yeah, but I was really pleasantly surprised by how well positively received everything is. It does feel like even the undercard's got storylines. This is 1 week, but it definitely feels like Heyman is on the show already.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently, I did read on Cage Side Seats that he's been around since February, but basically they're just finalising the details so you can have full creative control.
Okay.
But do you think this is also a thing where Vince McMahon is going to the XFL next year? He's going to have more input to that, so he has to let go of creative control.
Yeah, that makes sense. And he's trying to pick kind of deputies that he knows are solid or that he's trusted before.
Are you surprised Paul Levesque is not one of them?
No, because if I reckon what will probably happen is that he'll be in the Vince position when Vince goes. So then Heyman and Bischoff will be reporting to Trips instead of to Vince.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And he runs NXT already as well.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see Road Dogg run NXT.
No, it wouldn't. You change your mind about that. You change your mind about NXT when Road Dogg's booking it.
I don't think Road Dogg was a bad booker for SmackDown. He's on NXT right now, so But Road Dogg wasn't a bad booker for SmackDown, I don't think. Jinder Mahal was Vince's thing. Just FYI.
Yeah, true. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Road Dogg. He's working within a broken system.
Oh, indeed. Well, hopefully that broken system gets unbroken for you, Sam, when Heyman and Bischoff finally take the reins.
Yeah, we'll see.
Officially in a couple of weeks. I wonder if you'll appear tonight. But anyway, moving on to our next segment. Shall we just go straight into the Ring of Dishonor instead of having a break?
Yeah, we can do. It kind of feeds in.
Yeah, it kind of feeds in. So, this is based off something that happened last night on Raw, I believe. Yeah,
so there were two things that happened last night on Raw that made me think this is when I read the results, that made me think Paul Heyman's been involved in this. The first one sounded really cool, and it is when Braun Strowman got speared through all the shit, all the electric stuff, and there was loads of pyro and explosions, and that sounds really cool. The second thing, and this is what is going into the Ring of Dishonor for me this week, was the Maria Kanellis pregnancy angle. So I would like to enter into the Ring of Dishonor pregnancy storylines in professional wrestling.
Okay, so what's your pitch?
So my pitch is you can't end them in a satisfying way. You can't let a storyline run for long enough that the baby can be born, and therefore you can do that convincingly anyway. Because you can't fake a pregnancy. It's really hard. And you can't have it end like early without it just being like unnecessarily brutal, or kind of comically terrible. There's no good way for you to end a pregnancy angle at all.
I just still remember Snitsky kicking a baby.
Exactly. That's the type of shit I'm thinking of. Like the Claire Lynch story. No, is it Claire Lynch from TNA?
Claire,
this baby's coming, AJ. Do the right thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like
God,
dog shit. Dog shit. Like, there's better ways of creating. If you want to do like a romance angle, romance storyline, there's so many better ways that are way more believable. Especially if the pregnant person is a wrestler, because then either they're faking being pregnant or they're a fucking terrible mother getting in the wrestling ring whilst pregnant with a child.
Paige's mum did it.
Yeah, Paige. I guess that was really early days.
Yeah.
She didn't know she was pregnant then.
Yeah. Okay. So, has a pregnancy storyline paid off? Well, so when Mae Young gave birth to a hand.
All right. Okay. I withdraw my entry. No.
I will say this: the hand grew up and appeared on Raw 1000.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. It did pay off. It did pay off. They knew it was stupid, and it paid off. So.
That's long-term booking from the WWE there.
Yeah, surprising.
But like the Claire Lynch storyline, that was terrible. Snitsky and Kane, that was terrible. And it's like Maria Kanellis hasn't been on TV for like a year, and now they're back with this terrible angle.
Well, okay, so in defense of this angle, it's the first angle they've got on main roster television in a while because they've been on 205 Live. Secondly, there's been no soap opera storylines which made the Attitude Era so successful, made Ruthless Aggression Era quite successful. A failure by comparison, but there's none of the entertainment that makes WWE. And the reason why people watch WWE. I'm not saying there's a reason why people watch professional wrestling.
No, you're right. That's fair.
They're almost separate things. So there's no storylines which attract people. You need to get people watching, and what made people that I know watched it and who no longer watch it was the stupidity, surprisingly. So as much as it's not to your taste, and I'm not too bothered about it either way, at least they're doing something, and they're doing something different, which is completely out of left wing, and apart from Bray Wyatt's family, Firefly Funhouse, there's something actually different.
Yeah, that's not just like
3 months. So I'm going to let it play out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong, and maybe this.
Maybe she's not even pregnant.
This angle, maybe she's not.
Throw away because she doesn't want to get beat up by Becky Lynch.
Yeah, exactly, and that's fine.
Experienced wrestler, could be our next feud. I mean, that doesn't really blow me away, but it's a potential next feud set up between Becky Lynch and Maria Kanellis.
I guess. I mean, this one, but then let's.
I like the good line. Maybe Becky should impregnate me. I thought that was gold.
So this particular pregnancy angle might be the one that breaks the rule, but can you name a pregnancy angle prior to this one?
I did. Mark Henry and Mae Young. It took a while, but it did.
I mean, that wasn't really.
The Kane one was just bad because Kane and Lita was bad beforehand, so they had to take it up a notch and make it more extreme in order to make Kane a face. And
do you remember the episode of Raw where Snitsky punted the baby into the crowd? That's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, but we haven't seen anything like that in years. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe Brock Lesnar needs to come out and kick a baby into a toilet or something.
I don't know. I think the modern era of wrestling misses those characters quite a bit. And I think some success, this is a bit off tangent a bit, but you look at the success of the 24/7 championship. You have comedy it's comedy angles galore.
It's all comedy angles.
It's different. The reason why Bray Wyatt is so over, because it's different. The reason why Becky Lynch was so over prior to WrestleMania is because she was different.
True.
She was a badass when this roster's not full of badasses. You know, the reason why Braun Strowman was over, because flipping shit every single week and wondering what he's going to flip next is different. And that's the thing. So in defense, I'm going to not put it in the Ring of Dishonor. We can come back to it. I was
going to say, I'm owed 2 more votes for this. Normally there's more people on this podcast.
Yeah. We can come back to this in a few months' time.
And we'll see if I've given birth to a hand or not.
Bring back the soap opera storylines, because nothing else has worked for main roster WWE. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll see how that storyline plays out. I'm not bothered about it. It's a story. Let's tell a story.
I guess you could probably say something along the lines of, if you don't like that shit, go and watch New Japan, because they definitely do not do any soap opera shit in that promotion.
What do you mean? What do you mean, pal? Such good shit.
Oh, such good shit. Yeah, Vince is hard. He's a hard impression to do. I mean, they have some vaguely kind of, I guess you might say, fantastical stuff in New Japan. But yeah, nobody's like getting into a fight because of their wife being pregnant or something like that. That's not happening.
Yeah. But I don't know. I enjoyed the storyline where Eddie and Rey Mysterio fought over the custody of a child on a ladder match.
Yeah, see, I was originally going to make my entry all wrestling angles involving children, and then I was like, but that Dominic thing, I mean, it was stupid, but it was like good stupid. And Nicholas, that was stupid. My mum watched that
storyline absolutely fascinated. Just going, this is so bad, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And Nicholas winning the tag titles with Braun Strowman, lots of people didn't like that, and it was stupid, but it was fun. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Tell that to Chen.
Yeah, Chen hates fun and loves Baron Corbin.
Says a lot. Exactly. He won't listen to this. It's absolutely fine. So, unfortunately, pregnancy storylines does not go into the Ring of Dishonor for you. But
come back in 9 months and see.
Come back in 9 months when the baby is born.
We'll see if it paid off or not.
I told you it paid off. Oh my god. Now I'm just thinking, should we have like a pregnancy, like predict the storyline segment next week? But probably not. So
let's see if it's referred to again even next week, or if they just decide, we just won't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, they probably did that. Anyway, so speaking of next episode, we will have our G1 preview as well as a pregnancy. No, I'm joking. No. But it will be our G1 preview, which Sam is in charge of. He might host it, I might host it, but he's the lead man on it regardless. So join us. That's happening later in the week. So
yeah, second half of the week.
2 episodes for the price of 1 this week. We deliver content. But until next time, remember to follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, and give us a subscription if you haven't done so on your podcast outlet. Give us a rating, preferably a 5-star rating. And that's the bottom line, because this pod says so.